So imagine you and your friend are walking together, and all of a sudden you get a notification, so you stand still while your friend continues walking. The question is, would you know how far your friend would be after a minute, 2 minutes, 100 minutes, a second? The average human walks about 80 meters per minute, so let's assume that your friend walks 100 meters per minute because they're a fast walker. And let's figure out how far they are from you at any moment of time using a graph and equation. So let's draw our y-axis and x-axis. And to make things simple, let's say you and your friend are at the origin, 0, 0. And it is at this point in time, at 0 time, that you get the notification that maybe you got like a million subscribers now from your amazing TikTok videos or amazing Instagram videos. So you're at 0, 0. So after a minute, knowing that your friend walks pretty fast, they're 100 meters away. So on the y-axis, we have 100. And then on the x, we have 1. And then we have another point at 1, comma, 100. So that's where your friend's at. You're at 0, 0 still because you're reading your notification. And then 2 minutes later, your friend's going to probably be at 200. So then we have another point at 2, comma, 200. So then your friend at any moment in time can be on this line that goes through these points 0, 0, 1, 100, and 2, 200. And if you can figure out exactly what the coordinates are at any position here on that line, that'll tell you where they are or how far they are from you. So is there a way to use an equation to see where your friend is or how far your friend is at any moment of time? From our previous video, we looked at y equals x to explain how we can get an infinite number of points or coordinates on a Cartesian plane without actually listing all the coordinates. And in this case, 0, 0 was a coordinate, 1, 1 was a coordinate, 2, 2 was a coordinate. But we have a problem here. Now we don't have 0, we don't have 1, 1, we don't have 2, 2. We have 0, 0, but we also have 1, 100. And that's where our general form of the equation of a line comes in, y equals mx plus b. And then we use m here to change the slope because the slope of this, or slant of this linear function is actually much steeper compared to what we had before, the y equals x line. So if you look closely, our coordinate 0, 0 goes to 1, 100, and then goes to 2, 200. So when the x is 1, we need the y to be 100. Right now, the previous equation, if we use y equals x, when the x is 1, y is 1. So then what can we do to our x value so that it becomes 100 instead of 1? We can simply multiply by 100. So our equation actually becomes y equals 100x. Now, if we sub in 1 for x, we get y equals 100 times 1, which is equal to 100. Therefore, when x is 1, y is 100. That works out perfectly. Okay. How about when x is 2? So when x is 2, y equals 100 times 2, and then we get y equals 200. So when x is 2, y is 200, and that's exactly the coordinate that we have. So this equation now that we have y equals 100x works out perfectly. We can use it to figure out the position of your friend at any point in time. So let's see where they are at half a minute, which is 0.5. So 0.5 of a minute. So x would be 0.5. So then y would be 100 times 0.5, which will give you 50. So the other coordinate is 0.5 comma 50, or half comma 50. So then with this equation, we can now tell where your friend is at any moment in time. So where does this 100 really come from if we look at it graphically? The 100 actually comes from, if you look at it closely, from 0, 0 to 1, 100, the rise, so how much the y value changes every time an x value increases by 1. So if x increases by 1, how much did the y change? It changed by 100. When x increases by 2, how much does the y change? 200. So the slope, the m value, is actually how much the y changes for every change in x, for every one change in x. So that's why the slope is also known as the rise over the run. Because if we look at our graph, the rise from 0, 0 to 1, 100 is 100. And then our run is 1. So then that gives us 100 as our slope. So that's why if we use the equation y equals mx plus b, in this situation, the m is 100. And we get y equals 100x. Now, what if you and your friend didn't start at 0, 0? What if you and your friend started at, let's say, 1 on the y-axis? So if you and your friend started at 1 and your friend still walks at a rate of 100 meters per minute, that means your friend is going to be at 1, 101. And then they're going to be at 2, 201. And then your starting position is going to be 0, 1. Now our equation from before, y equals 100x, does not work because, let's see, let's sub in 1 for x. If we sub in 1 for x, we get 100 times 1, which is 100. So y equals 100. But in our case, this new situation where you and your friend started at 0, 1, our y is not at 100. It's at 1, 101. So we need to adjust. And that's exactly what the b value is for. And y equals mx plus b, the b is actually the starting point on the y-axis. So if we look at this line here, we start at 0, 1, so 1 on the y-axis. So our equation actually becomes y equals 100x plus 1. So let's sub in the point 1 for our x value. So then we get y equals 100 times 1 plus 1, which equals 100 plus 1, which equals 101. So when x is 1, y is at 101. So as you can see, you can describe any linear function or any line on a x and y axis, a Cartesian grid, by using y equals mx plus b, where m is how much the y changes for every x, and the b represents the starting point on the y-axis. If you have any more questions about linear functions or any other mathematical concepts, please leave a comment below.